Cavaliers 112-101 and improved to 2-4 on the season and 1-0 in NBA Cup action. What's going on, guys? My name is Yousuf and welcome back to this episode of the Raptors Rundown, and I apologize for my voice being a little bit low. It's first of all really late at night, and second of all, I lost my voice at the Jays game, Game 6, where we got absolutely screwed out of a win. I'm still very upset about that, but now we have a Game 7 tomorrow. But I was still able to manage watching a little bit of the Raptors game. I caught up on it afterwards as well, and I'm confident enough to be able to give this Raptors Rundown episode saying that I know what I'm talking about. Some of the quick thoughts right off the bat, I was so happy that the Toronto Raptors finally had a good defensive game. This is probably the first good defensive game of the entire season for us. And yes, I know the Cleveland Cavaliers had a bunch of players out, including their big man, Jared Allen, and it helped that Cleveland didn't have any real size outside of Evan Mobley. Granted, like when Thomas Bryant was in, Cleveland looked exponentially better. But overall, I just thought our defense was a lot more clean this time. There was a lot less gambling and a lot less of those dumb double teams that we were having in games past. Overall, there were still some stupid fouls that I saw that we have to clean up on a little bit, but it was a lot less compared to the other games. In my opinion, I think having that team practice, I know there wasn't really one between the San Antonio game and the Houston game, so they didn't really get a chance to sort of iron out any of the issues that they were having defensively. So I think having that team practice was a really good opportunity for Darko and his team to preach the new defensive identity that they wanted, where it's not just double teaming Harrison Barnes blindly, trying to gamble for a steal and leaving the paint wide open. There's a great stat that I got, shout out Will Liu, he said this, the Cleveland Cavaliers shot the ball 90 times and 46 of those shots were 3-pointers. Overall, defensively, it meant that the Raptors did such a good job of stacking extra bodies in the paint. Rim protection is such a big issue with us right now, with Jakob Poeltl being out, and even when he's in, he has back spasms, so he's not able to protect the rim effectively. So you need those extra bodies in the paint. You can live with a couple of Jalen Tyson, Craig Porter Jr., Dean Wade threes if it means they're not getting easy buckets at the paint once again. Early on, I noticed that our offense was a lot more fluid, especially when it came to the ball movement. I saw it was moving around incredibly well. I remember an incredible play where Scotty Barnes was the roller. Brandon Ingram passed it to him. As he was going in the paint, he kicked it out to a wide open RJ Barrett for the three, and he hit those shots today. RJ Barrett was great today. He was really aggressive. A little bit of a stat pad at the end there, but it's NBA Cup, so it's allowed. He had 20 points today, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and he shot 53% from the field. Brandon Ingram as well, we know what he's going to bring to the team. He's an absolute bucket. He got 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists with 2 steals. Sort of a great overall performance for him as well. He had a bunch of huge buckets where we were sort of leaking oil a little bit, and then we were able to get the ball to our best bucket getter, where he got 3 points the old-fashioned way. Scotty Barnes struggled. Once again, I feel like these are the sort of games where he sort of took it back step a little bit and allowed Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett to control the pace of the game. He started off really well for 4 for 4, but he missed his next 6 shots. So I think he sort of took a step back, only 14 shots in today's game, but not the worst game overall. I expect him to bounce back like he has in the past this season. Colin Murray-Boyles, he struggled guarding Evan Mobley. It's going to happen, against the former All-Star and former Defensive Player of the Year. I liked the aggressiveness. There was one play especially where he went into the body of a Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. This is the second time in only like 3 or 4 games that he's played where he's gone at a Defensive Player of the Year, so I'd love to see that from Colin Murray-Boyles. Another player that really stood out to me was Jamal Shead. He was incredible when it came to controlling the game. He was able to find Brandon Ingram especially, which is a skill that is really underappreciated. Having your point guard know when to pass to the guys that are cooking. And yeah, I just thought the offense looked a lot more fluid with him in the lineup, and we'll talk a little bit about that later when it comes to the starting lineup, because I have a very interesting take on that. The bench overall, Sandro Mamukelashvili once again had a great game, shot 50% from the field, and he got 11 points. Beautiful game from him. And the star, the player of the game today, JAMISON Battle, who would have thought? I saw him go on the floor, and I was absolutely in shock, but he was incredible tonight. He had 20 points on 7 for 7 shooting from the field, 6 for 6 from 3-point range in only 15 minutes. Jamison Battle did not play a single minute in the first half, and he ended with more points than everybody on the team except RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram, who both had 20 points themselves. We have to give Darko credit. I was on him a little bit for his rotations and his game plan a little bit, but he was able to make that change, noticing that Grady Dick wasn't looking as comfortable out there, and noticing that Jamison Battle, he was hitting his shots, he was finding his range, and keeping him out there to close the game especially. I think especially with this team and the poor shooting that we have, when you have a player that's hitting his threes, he's going to need to play a lot more minutes than 15, so hopefully Darko can notice that a little bit earlier and go to Jamison Battle a little bit earlier. But yeah, mainly because of those three players, Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle, and Sandro Mamukelishvili, the bench basically won us the game. We outscored the Cavaliers bench 50-15 in bench points, so that was incredible. And once again, super proud of the defense. We held them to 22 points in the first and 21 points in the second and 24 points in the fourth. Overall, incredible defensive effort, and I want to see this on a nightly basis. If these teams are just hitting their shots, and then there's nothing we can really do about it. But no more easy buckets given up. I want to see that stopped from this point on. Like, especially like the third quarter, they went off. They were just hitting their shots. They were hitting some tough stuff. I don't think it was. Maybe we came out of the half a little bit rocky when it came to an intensity point. But I think that they were just hitting tough shots, and that's going to happen against some of these teams. So overall, incredible defensive effort. The one bad note from this, once again, Immanuel Quickley, man. And this is, I feel bad because it's becoming a talking point in every single episode. Once again, defensively, it looked really bad. Facilitating the ball, did not look very comfortable in that position. And the biggest thing that people are pointing out today, he has this horrible tendency of running out in transition, going out and trying to take a contested layup like as if he could dunk like prime Russell Westbrook. It's so annoying. He got blocked at the rim like twice on 2 layups that he really should not have put up. I think it was the Houston game where he had Scotty Barnes trailing wide open, but instead he decided to take up the layup on a way taller defender and obviously got blocked instantly. So instead of getting 2 easy points, we got blocked and we lose the possession. For a team that's trying to run in transition, we cannot be allowing our main point guard to take up these shots. He went 2 for 9, and almost half of those shots were shots that he should not have taken. And once again, a scary thing, 0 for 3 tonight. I don't know what happened to the 3 ball, but yeah, Immanuel Quickley overall has to be better. I'm chilling out on you today because it is late at night. I'm upset about the Blue Jays, and my voice is gone. But Immanuel Quickley really needs to step it up for us in the future. And I sort of alluded to this earlier. I'm genuinely, seriously looking at Jamal Shed starting on this lineup if Immanuel Quickley cannot pick up his defense. He gets blown by way too easily. Jamal Shed is able to stay in front of his matchup really effectively all the time. He's an incredible defender. We know this since his college days. And overall, I feel like the offense is a lot more fluid with him facilitating. And to be quite frank, I feel like Jamal Shed is a lot more confident with his three-point. I'm a lot more confident in his three-point shot than Immanuel Quickley, just to be completely honest. Another down point was Grady Dick. He only got 5 minutes today. I'm going to be completely honest. I was at the Blue Jays game, so I wasn't able to get any of those 5 minutes. But I can only assume he just did not look as comfortable out there, and the lineup looked a little bit worse with him out there. An interesting player, an interesting person to look at this season, how many minutes, how consistently he's going to play. Maybe Darko Rajakovic eventually takes him out of the lineup in favor of Jamison Battle or Jacoby Walter. Jacoby Walter ended up playing more than him once again today. I think it just comes down to the defense as well. He's still just not a strong enough defender, and he's not a strong enough offensive player to warrant his poor defense. From a Cleveland side of things, Evan Mobley went off, DeAndre Hunter went off, Jalen Tyson went off. Once again, a player that Immanuel Quickley was went off and had a career year. I'm noticing this trend quite a bit. But yeah, overall, there's not too much you could do when you're relying on Luke Travers and Craig Porter Jr. and Tyrese Proctor to give you some solid minutes. It's not much they could do. I thought they battled valiantly, and I hope, as a basketball fan, to see them healthy in the future. When it comes to the standings point of view, we're not 2-4, but we are 1-0 in NBA Cup games, so this was a very important game. The Toronto Raptors are currently second in their group. The Atlanta Hawks won. They have a higher point differential. But now, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, that seemed like the toughest game overall. We've beaten the Atlanta Hawks before. The Indiana Pacers are struggling a lot this season, and the Washington Wizards are coming out of a season where they were tanking, and while they do look good right now, they're a really young team, and they've lost some really close games, so it's a very winnable game for us. And who knows, maybe through all of this trash, we can come out of our group in the NBA Cup. Wouldn't that be something? You're gonna have the OKC Thunder, the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, all these teams, and the Toronto Raptors. Our next game is another very winnable game. I think a super important one because we're playing another dysfunctional team right now. The Memphis Grizzlies are dealing with a lot. They're coming off a loss where Ja Morant has just called out his coaching staff for not playing him more. Whether that means they take some disciplinary action on him or whether they listen to him and actually play him more, I don't know, but we have to take advantage of playing teams like this that are somehow more dysfunctional than us. Some keys to the game is to control the boards, in that I know they only have Jaren Jackson Jr., who's not the best offensive rebounder and not the best rebounder, period, so we cannot allow them to control any sort of rebounds in that game. Do not turn the ball over. I think we turned the ball over too much against Cleveland. That was my one issue looking at the stat sheet, so we need to be the team that's always winning the turnover battle overall. And last but not least, we need to come out with another level of intensity to let them know that they're not going to have an easy night in the office. A lot of teams are seeing the Toronto Raptors and how bad they're playing defensively and thinking it's going to be easy. Hopefully we can change that mentality about us and come out with a new level of intensity overall. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. I feel like it was a little bit shorter. I feel like it was a little more tame, especially for the Toronto Raptors' first win. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your predictions are for the Toronto Raptors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Who's going to go off? Who's going to stink? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next Raptor Rundown.